Hi, welcome to Netviewcctv, a guide to the initial wizard and the setup of Hikvision DVR or NVR. In this case, this is connected to 8-channel Hikvision DS7608 NI NVR. First boot up. I've just installed a couple of hard drives. Switch the machine on, connect it to just a normal VGA monitor via VGA lead, like a PC monitor, up to the NVR. I booted it up. First thing I get is the startup wizard, which starts up with a tick box there. Startup wizard when device starts. So once leave that on in the beginning. Once you're happy with the menu and your way around the menu, you can switch it off and it won't start again. You can switch it on and off inside the menu. Right, what do we get? In the meantime, you'll hear a beeping sound. That beeping sound is telling us there's an abnormality within the NVR. In this case, it's telling me that the hard drives have just been installed and they're not initialized. So first thing you have to do is to make sure the hard drives are initialized. They call it initialization. It's a sort of a format, so the NVR can read the information on the hard and write to the information on the hard drives. So let's work through the wizard, the initial wizard. The first thing we get, click on next. Admin password. The default admin password is 123455, which is the default password on all Hikvision NVRs and all Hikvision DVRs and all Hikvision cameras. 123455. Enter and click on next. Make sure that you do change the password once you're familiar with the menu, and don't leave it at the default. So time zone, we can change that. We're in the UK, so we're going to change that to GMT. All of these settings you can change afterwards, so if you miss anything, don't worry about it. In the UK, we have the date format is day, month, and year. So we're going to switch that over to day, month, and year. DD, MM, YY. That'll give us a day first. System date 24th of the 4th, which is today. I'm recording this at 3:57:57, and I'm going to click on next. So done all that stuff. So next we get the network interface type. You can leave that on self-adaptive. Enable DHCP will ensure that the router gives the NVR receives an IP address from your router. At the moment, my NVR isn't connected to the internet or a router, so there's no IP addresses here. You can, of course, set your own up if you do know the IP address of your router and an IP address within that range that you can allocate to the NVR. Just untick that and type the internal IP address of an NVR. Normally it's 192.168. It's sometimes 0 or sometimes 1, and you can click and give it an IP address of anything above the IP address of your router. In most instances, the router is 192.168.0.1 or 192.168.1.1 or 0.254 or 1.254. So I'm going to give this an address of 192.168.0.50. Enter. Subnet mask is 255.255.255.255.255. And that's sufficient. And the default gateway will be the IP address of your router. So in this case, we've got 50 there. So our router IP address is 192.168.0.1. You must get that from your router settings. 192.168.0.1. Enter. Preferred DNS server. If you put that same as your router, it will take the DNS from your router. 192.168.0.1. Or if you prefer an alternative one, you can use the default Google one, which is 8.8.8.8. That's 4 8s. That's the default Google DNS server. There you go. Click on next. You don't have to do any of this. If you just click DHCP, your router will give you the IP address. You're going to click on next. Right, there you go. The beeping sound is telling me I've got two 4 terabyte hard drives installed, 3.72 gig, which is basically 4 terabyte hard drive. Hard drive number 2, which is also a 4 terabyte. Both are initialized, uninitialized, and we'll have to tick 1, tick 2, and then click on initialize. There you go. It's come up with a message saying initialization will erase all data on the hard drive. Basically, it will format the hard drive so the NVR can read and write information to it. Do you wish to continue? Yes. So I'm going to click on yes. And there we go. It will tell us it's initializing 0% on the first one. And it'll take a few minutes. So we'll have to give it a few minutes to work through. And you'll hear that the beeping sound will stop as soon as both the hard drives are initialized. In the meantime, while that's doing the initialization, what else can I go through? For example, the IP address. The router will give you the best way to get a fixed internal IP address is initially to click on the screen before, leave the click DHCP ticked, let the NVR receive an IP address from the router, then untick the DHCP. That means the information has all been received from the router and is correct. It'll set the default gateway automatically and set the DNS servers automatically. And then you can untick it, and that will always be your internal IP address, which will be 192.168.xx.xx. And that's your internal one, to access the NVR internally from a web browser or directly. So at the moment, it's still initializing the first hard drive. It's formatting the first hard drive, 36%. It does take a few minutes, so go and have a cup of tea. I'll just have to wait until this completes. It won't let me do anything else. At least I don't think so. Let me click on next. Oh, actually it will. So let's go to previous. Yes, it's still initializing. So you can go to next. So while that's initializing, I haven't got any IP cameras connected. I'm just setting up the NVR initially without any cameras and initializing the hard drive. And I'm also going to update the firmware as well while I'm here. So here we go. We're going to click on next. I don't need to add any IP cameras. If you wanted to add some, you click on search and add the IP cameras. So click on next. Right, it's asking us do you want to start recording straight away? We can click on yes, can start recording. Do you want on continuous recording 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or motion detection only when it detects motion? I'm going to leave all my cameras continuous record. There's insufficient hard drive space with the 8 terabytes of hard drive. That setting is now configured to IP camera 1, and I'm going to copy that across to every single IP camera that's going to be connected. If I'm going to connect every single IP camera here, then it's the D1 setting, the camera 1 setting will be applied to all the other 8 cameras. I'm actually going to connect 7 to this NVR, so I'm going to untick number 8. So there we go. So I'm going to apply that setting from 2 to 7. Okay. So that continuous recording is now applied to all cameras. Just to check, we can go on the drop down box and click on number 4, for example. There you go, that's set. So I know that's the recording set for every single channel apart from number 8. Click on next. And there we go. We go to initial screen. I've got no cameras connected, otherwise I'd see the cameras, one big screen there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and number 8 there. To access the menu, then I'm going to right click my mouse. There you go, which brings up the menu. I'm going to click on menu, and it brings me up with the full menu to go. we can have a brief look at the configuration. There we go. This is where we can actually manually set it without going through the wizard. The wizard tick box is just there. If you don't want that wizard to start next time, you just untick that one and must apply. That will ensure that the wizard doesn't start up next time, and you can go straight into the menu, right click your mouse and it will take you to the menu. You can set your settings here. So the language is already set to English. Change the resolution. At the moment set to 1024x768. You do have options to go right up to 1080p. I'm going to leave it at 1024x768 because I've got quite an old monitor connected and it probably wouldn't handle the refresh rates that of 1920x1080, which is 1080p. My time zone, GMT, date format. There's arrows at the ends of each one. You can change the setting to. You must, after each setting, change apply, otherwise it won't be applied. System date, system time, your mouse pointer speed, how quickly you want the mouse to move across the screen. Default is to the left. Enable password, keep this ticked, enable password, unless you're initially going into the menu quite often and you don't want to keep going into the trouble of inputting the password every time you enter. Once it's all complete, you must enable the password, because it's common knowledge that the Hikvision NVRs, the DVRs and cameras are all, the password is 12345. So you must change that. So the general network video recorder, that's just general information. We don't really need to have a look at this at the moment. Network, let's go to the network settings. There we go. So you've got the ability to connect to the EasyViz cloud peer-to-peer without doing any port forwarding. So the video connects automatically, your apps etc. connect automatically to the EasyViz cloud peer-to-peer portal for people without knowledge, to make it simple to connect your phone and your apps to the NVR to view it online. We don't need to encrypt the stream. When you connect to the EasyViz cloud, you'll have to have the verification code, which is there. You can actually change this to whatever you wish, but just leave it the default one. If your IP address keeps changing and you're not using the EasyViz cloud, you can use the DDNS, free DDNS service. Go to www.hit-online.com, set up a DDNS account, and it will give you a device name, a username and passwords, and you can put the information in here. When you click on enable DDNS, and it doesn't matter whether the IP address keeps changing, the DDNS will take care of that, and you only have to put the name in, the DDNS name, rather than the IP address every time it changes. General, there we go, there's the IP address we have to set, enable DHCP or untick and put your own DHCP addresses in, your IP address is in. Your IP address version 4 is the one we're going to put in, 192.168.0.192.168. Whatever your range is of your router, and that's where you fill all that information in. No need to touch any of this, anything that's filled in, apart from your DNS server, which is your router address, or use the Google DNS server as I mentioned, 8.8.8.8. I'm not going to go into these details at the moment. Just a quick look: enable PPOE, NTP, email. You can set up email, so you can send your email to your email account. You can send snapshots when it detects movement, etc. There's lots of things it can do. More settings. There you go. These is quite important for port forwarding. Go to more settings. These are the ports you've got to forward. Is port 8000, port 80, and port 554. You have to forward them 3 ports to actually view off-site through the internet. And next we're going to have, I'm not going to click on alarm, live view. I'm going to go to exceptions. This is where your beeping sound was occurring because of the exceptions are set to enable hint and hard drive full. So if I drop this down to hard drive error, there you go, audible warning is ticked. That's why it was giving us a warning with the beeping sound that the hard drives were not initialized. You can untick this, and you can untick it all if you want. All errors. You don't want any audible warnings on any of these exception types, or you can enable hints. Right, I'm going to right click, go back to the main menu screen, and I'm going to go into maintenance because I want to update the firmware. So I'm going to click on maintenance. So it tells me what this is, the serial number, the code, etc. I'm going to upgrade the firmware. When you click on upgrade on the left, it comes up with the devices that are connected, a USB device that are connected to the machine. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my new firmware is already on a USB stick. I'm going to plug the USB stick into my NVR, and I'm going to refresh, and it will tell me what I've got on my USB stick. I've got obviously a lot of firmware on mine, so I have to find that. It must be very, very careful of having the right firmware to upgrade, because the wrong firmware upgrade could potentially brick your machine, and it will have to be sent back for repair, and that will not be covered under warranty. So be very careful of which firmware you use. This is the 7608 NI-E4, which is the 76. There you go. It's the build. It's a new version, 767786 NI-E, English version 3.3.0, and I noticed that one. So I'm going to go into that folder, click on the file digicap.dav, that's digicap.dav. I'm going to highlight the file and hit upgrade. It's telling me, attention, system will reboot automatically after the upgrading is complete. Do you want to continue? Yes, only press yes if you are 100% confident this is the correct file. If you're not sure, don't do it. If you're not sure, go back to where you purchased the NVR from, and they will be able to advise you which actual firmware you should be using to upgrade your particular model, because there are a lot of models, and the model numbers are quite confusing and very, very similar, so you must make sure it's the correct model. I know this is the correct one, so I'm going to click on yes. There we go. It comes up with a menu. It's upgrading the system. Give it a minute or so. It'll take a couple of minutes just to upgrade the firmware to the latest one, and once it's done, we'll be good to go. So I'm just going to complete this firmware upgrade. It doesn't take too long. About a minute or a minute and a half. We at Netviewcctv make sure all the NVRs and DVRs we send out are all fully updated to the latest versions before they are dispatched, so you don't need to worry about any of this. They will come pre-updated, so you'll be ready to go. Just plug in your cameras, work through the menu, and you'll be up and running within a few minutes, basically, literally within a few minutes. There we go, we're nearly complete. All I've done is put the firmware onto a USB stick, put the USB stick, plugged it into the NVR, found the correct file, and hit upgrade on the bottom right, and it will start upgrading the system. The firmware is always named digicap.dav, which is their own proprietary format, and only applies to Hikvision equipment. If you're not sure what you're doing with firmwares, do not, and I do reiterate, do not mess around or try to upgrade the firmware if you're at all unsure. There you go, it's telling me upgrading is finished and the system is rebooting. It will reboot automatically once the firmware upgrade has completed. It will apply the firmware and it will reboot the system automatically. So give it a couple of minutes and it will automatically reboot. There we go, it's switched off, that means it's rebooting. There's always that initial very short beep to indicate that the NVR is actually booting up. There we go, we've got the initial screen. It will, remember we unticked the startup wizard so that we will not get this. We'll not get the startup wizard anymore. But the new firmware now always advises us that the admin password is weak. Please use a strong password to ensure your information security. Continue. So I'm going to click on yes. And it's asking me to put the old password in. So that's 12345. Put a new password in there. Confirm the new password. The valid password ranges from 8 to 16 characters. You can use a combination of numbers, lowercase, uppercase, and special characters for your password, with at least 2 kinds of them contained. I'm not going to change the password at the moment until I completely set this system up. So click on cancel. It's telling me the IP camera password is weak. Please use a strong password. It's advised me again just to make sure. I'm going to click on yes, continue. I don't need to at the moment. So there we go. That's a new keyboard layout from before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and click on OK. Your password is weak. Continue, yes. Cancel. There we go. Right, it's telling us IP cameras are all weak. Weak password. We don't need to worry about that just yet. I'm going to go into the menu. Cancel. There we go. I'm going to quickly look. Make sure the firmware has been upgraded. Yeah, it's telling us the model number is DS7608NI-E2-8P. The firmware version is version 3.3.0, build 150328, which is the latest firmware for these NVRs. So I know now my firmware has updated nicely without any issues, and I'm ready to go. And there we go. I hope you enjoyed that. It was quite a brief overview. Each menu has detailed information in there. This is just a brief overview to give you an indication of how to navigate the menu and what to do on startup. I hope you found that useful, and watch out for some more videos. And if you do require any more information, just drop me a line, put a note underneath this video, and I'll respond as soon as I can. Thanks for watching.